Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Andrew Bartolotta. We're always honored to bring you stories of individuals and organizations making an impact here in the Mid-South and beyond, powering the good in our community. And today, we're talking about helping you navigate through all of life's choices when it comes to aging with the owner of Midsouth Aging Consultant, Kristen Miller. Kristen, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Andrew. It's nice to be here.
Give listeners an idea for your background in this space.
Well, I have been in social work for about the last 18 years, and 14 years of that I've spent with older adults. I've worked in independent living, assisted living, memory care, and it just really has become my niche.
So what is the mission of Midsouth Aging Consultant?
It's a three-part mission. So first is we navigate people through all of the complex issues that arise with aging. We serve as navigators. And then the second one is training and education. And then the third is advocacy for age-friendly communities.
Great. Now, why are you so passionate about helping seniors?
I really love this question. So, Memphis is one of the most generous cities, right? And we have so many good organizations that support children, which is wonderful. I have two of my own. And everybody says children are the future because they are. Seniors are our present. And here's some, I have a degree in sociology, so I'm really big on statistics. So I'm going to throw some out for you.
Please.
And to back up my point of why seniors are our present. So traditionally, our demography has kind of been like a pyramid, with seniors at the top in the smallest section and children at the bottom. In 12 years, the pyramid's going to look like this. Seniors are our fastest growing segment of the population. And in just 12 short years, there will be more people over the age of 65 than there will be people under the age of 17.
What can a person expect when they use your services?
So I meet with people one-on-one. I go to their home. They don't have to worry about finding an office. And I sit down and I listen, for one thing. They lay out the entire issue for me, and then I kind of peel back the layers. And then I'm able to present them with a range of choices and then help them decide which choice is best for them. And then I offer them as much help or as little help as they want. Some people just say, point me in the right direction, and I'm fine with that. Others, I can provide a full range of services, everything from helping somebody choose the right senior living community, filling out the paperwork, facilitating their move, downsizing their house, even selling the house if they need to. Just the full wraparound services, even long-term care management after they've moved into that senior living place. And then another thing that people can expect of me is, I'm not new to this industry. I've been around, and I'm a lifelong Memphian. So I have a huge network of providers that I draw upon. So where, a lot of people might seem kind of overwhelmed with how many choices and they don't know the difference between one company and the next. I only recommend those companies that I know well. I know the people that work there, they're vetted, they're committed to serving our older adults. They have good business practices. So I don't take those recommendations lightly.
I think that's great. Being really a broker of services when it comes to memory care, senior living, just having a consultant there, knowing that you have their back, that is huge, especially advocating for the elderly. And just we see that even when you have one person that's in the hospital, you need to have a patient advocate because you need to have someone that's there. So imagine someone living in a new place and that's their new home for the rest of their life, typically, or they have something like dementia or Alzheimer's, and you're there to guide, be the intermediary between them and the staff and their family. That's a huge help. And I think that's so great. There unfortunately also is a lot of elder abuse that happens in not just our community, but around the United States and even globe. Your commitment to education is truly extensive, and you have from speaker series and staff and service trainings to continuing education. I saw that you have something that I think would be really fun, which is the interactive educational bingo games. So talk about the training and education you offer, and then give us some of your topics and typically who you talk to those about.
That's one thing that I really get excited about. There are a small handful of people in Memphis that do similar work, but there's not many at all that offer the training and the education. And to me, knowledge is power. So I have a lot of topics for older adults. I go and speak to senior groups, church groups, and whatnot. And we, one of my most popular ones is called "Is It Dementia or the Senior Moments?" Everybody wants to know, hey, am I losing it? I'm kind of forgetting a little bit. Also have ones that are very popular on scams and fraud, which is a scourge to our older adults. And just a full range of topics. Roadmap to Successful Retirement was a very successful series that I did at the Germantown Library this summer. And then also for professionals, there's a lot of continuing ed opportunities out there, but you have to seek them out. So I'm able to go into facilities and provide in-service training on dementia care, even for businesses that aren't related to specifically to seniors, like banks, like public spaces. How do you deal with a person that has dementia? How do you recognize it? How do you communicate with that person? How can you change your practices to be more age-friendly overall?
How do you advocate for age-friendly communities?
So one of the things that's on my radar for 2023 is Tennessee has a friendly Tennessee initiative. And it's so I'll be targeting municipalities and trying to approach them about, hey, let's get on board with this. Let's help you become a certified dementia-friendly city. Because not only is that going to help your citizenship, but it's also going to make you more attractive to people who want to come here to retire. Another one is age-friendly churches. So I have packages for churches where I can go and I can train their staff. I can train their congregation. I can help them implement things like maybe a dementia-friendly Bible study or Sunday school class or what have you. Maybe that looks like there's also a memory cafe. And we'll talk about that in a second. And maybe that also empower some of their congregants to volunteer to maybe provide some short respite care for caregivers that have a person with dementia at home, and maybe they just need to go to the store real quick or go to an appointment and they can't leave that person at home by themselves safely. Like I said earlier, businesses, training them on age-friendly practices such as changing the way they communicate, maybe changing the way they market, changing their environmental design with just some subtle things like chairs with arms, because that's huge. You lose a lot of muscle tone in your legs and makes it harder to stand up. You need sturdy chairs with arms so you can push up. Not big, huge sweeping things, but small things that make a big difference. Also have some training available for first responders and law enforcement on dementia, which is a big one, elder abuse, and also fall prevention, because they respond to so many calls involving falls in the home. And there's things that they are able to do while they're there to maybe prevent that person from having another fall. I volunteer as a community educator for the Alzheimer's Association. So I go and I talk to groups on behalf of the Alzheimer's Association, and then also have some guidebooks that I've written. They're on my website that promote more enhanced senior programming, that promote recognizing caregiver burnout and things of that nature. So I try to do as much as I can.
I think you're doing a tremendous job in really looking at all the different sectors, from first responders to corporations to families to the aging individual. So I think that's really cool. And you did mention something called a memory cafe, which sounds fascinating. What is a memory cafe, and how can you help an organization start one?
Memory cafes are really a really cool concept. They've been around a long time. They started in the Netherlands. The Netherlands are very progressive in dementia care, and it was an idea that kind of came across the ocean over here. It's much more popular on the Eastern Seaboard, and I've really been trying to promote those here. So a memory cafe it's not a restaurant or anything like that. Anybody can host one, such as a church or a library, or whoever. And it's just at a designated time. It's maybe an hour or two. You can host it once a week, once a month, once a quarter, whatever works for you. And it's a time for those with dementia and their caregivers to come together. It's not a drop-off service or anything like that, but they come together and they can socialize, they can fellowship, they can get information about resources, they can have a planned schedule of activities for that time, or they can just, have a time of fellowship, whatever works for that group. And it draws people out of their houses and gets them in community with people who are going through the same thing. Because having dementia can be very isolating, not only for the person that has it, but also for their caregivers. It's a very, very demanding disease. And so this is a way for them to be able to get out of the house and be able to be with people who know exactly what they're going through.
That is fascinating, and I can see why it is much needed, both in our areas and really around the nation and globe. Like you said, having the Netherlands really kicking that off, the work that you're doing and really helping the caregivers and helping those experiencing that as well is great. What puts a smile on your face when you look at the work that you're doing with Midsouth Aging Consultant?
I get so much out of it personally, especially when I have families that come to me and say, we just couldn't have done this without you. And that makes me feel great, obviously. But what really, I guess, kind of, keeps me going is knowing that there's so much work to be done. We have so much work to do. And today's cohort of older adults is so different than previous generations. They are really turning those aging conversations on their ear. Today's older adult is much more active than they ever have been before. And all of those things that come to mind when we talk about aging, you might picture somebody that's frail, or maybe they have dementia and they can't remember. That's while some of that does still occur far and wide, today's seniors are really setting the bar high for the rest of us. They're showing us what's possible to do in our older years. This is the group of people that have lived through so much, and they've learned so much, and they're still sharing all of that with us. And they are out there starting businesses, being advocates, being volunteers, taking classes, trying new things, traveling. I mean, it's just really astounding. And that's where I want the people I help to get to. I want them to help them understand what all the possibilities are. And like I said, there's just so much work to be done.
I love that. I'm on a committee for a 5K by me, and yesterday we had a group of, one of the categories is 70 plus, and we had more than, it was the awards for 3 men and 3 women in that category. And I mean, we had one lady who's 80 plus and a man that's almost 90, and they're running a 5K. And they're in way better shape than I am. So like you said, they are setting the bar high, many of them. And I love the work that you're doing. Where can people go to learn more about you, your services, and learn more?
You can always go to my website, It's Midsouth Aging Consultant.com. Kind of a mouthful, but there's a lot of good information on my website. I also have a Facebook page, Midsouth Aging Consultant, and on my Facebook page, I share daily tips for senior care, for healthy living. I just try to put out as much good information as I can. And then, of course, you can always give me a call. It's 901-604-4690.
Kristen, thank you so much for the work that you're doing in our community and working to power the good.
Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it. And thank you for what you do for calling attention to all the good things going on in our city.